Hey Jamila, hope you're doing well. First and foremost, I just want to say that Rebecca pulled me to the side on Saturday and was just like, "Who is Jamila? I need to meet her because she donated like an insane amount of money to the cause." So first and foremost, number one, I have to make sure that I introduce you to Rebecca next time that you're in on Saturday. And number two, thank you so much for the generous donation. I don't think any of us were expecting it, and especially given that it's someone who is within the Murder of Crows family, it truly meant a lot to me personally, and it meant a lot to Rebecca as well. So thank you very, very much. And it certainly goes a long way for sure. So I really, really appreciate it. So another thing is that I actually really do enjoy doing these videos because this is really good practice for the social media content that I want to start producing going forward. And these videos have really, really helped me kind of find my voice when it comes to like making videos. So hopefully going forward, you'll start seeing some gems on Instagram, or at least on my stories that I'm filming. I got this fancy camera that one of Alex's buddies recommended to me. So I'm going to hopefully be filming some pretty high quality stuff pretty soon. My first series is probably going to be what to talk to your coach about. Just kind of as a way to give athletes both in person and remote, a way to kind of like frame what they should be thinking about in terms of like how to talk to their coach about what is a problem and what isn't a problem. But anyways, going into our actual check-in here, because you're probably like, what's the point of all this, is going into your movement analysis. So first and foremost, I thought that squats went really, really great. To answer your question from the email, I think that depth-wise, we were much better than last week. And form-wise, we were even better than Saturday when we first worked together on the major changes in your squat. So what I'm always going to be looking for is the bar over the middle of your foot, and how best can we get the bar closer to the middle of your foot. And I think that you really nailed it on the videos that you filmed after our session on Saturday, because while your squats look great on Saturday, and they look better on Saturday than they have in a bit, they certainly look even better during the singles and the back off percentage work that you did. The back off percentage work looked better. The main reason behind that is because I kind of saw that there was a bit of a chest ball situation on the single at 210. So given that we were coming off of a sickness, and given that we were, we hit 200 previously, I probably would have called for 205 if I was right there with you. Excuse me. I'm just getting a million text messages while like I'm trying to concentrate here. So I think I would have called for 205 only because I think that would have been like right under an 8, and that would have given us confidence for going for 210 to 215 next week. In this situation, I felt like the 210 kind of pushed your chest down, which kind of made your bar go a little bit more forward than it normally would have. And kind of makes you use your hamstrings a little bit more than your quads can actually help out with. So in that type of situation, I would just want to be a little bit more conservative next time you get sick and have to do a single, which hopefully won't, knock on wood, wouldn't be for a while. Next thing is 135 at 8 was fantastic. To answer your question on the email, I do think that your pauses were certainly better. I think the control off the chest is also doing better, although the pauses are better than the control. So your control sometimes is a little wavy. So I don't think a lot of refs are going to be kind of just waiting for that bar to be completely still, but refs do appreciate coming down slowly and having that very legitimate half-second pause off of your chest. So as long as you come down a little bit slower in your eccentric and sink the bar a little bit deeper, I think you'll have better stability off the chest. But the pauses were really, really solid. So both were improved, but we can certainly improve a little bit more off of the simple stability of the bar when it makes contact on your chest. I can't believe that you did 135 for a single at 8 and then did 130 for a triple afterwards. That means that we could probably realistically increase our opener to 135 for for the first attempt, especially because we are regularly holding 135 to 140 in our hands when we're benching. Albeit, I know that on certain accessories we're doing that, but I do think that if we keep pushing here, we could probably hit 135 for a triple, so that way we can justifiably open up with that in about 3 weeks from now, which is very, very exciting. The other thing that I wanted to mention is whenever you can possibly make the weights exactly what you wanted them to look like, the more you should do it. The reasoning behind this is because there is a certain level of swagger and confidence that someone gets when they see a visualization of like the goals that they're trying to hit. So I know that it's much easier and much more efficient, especially if you're in a time crunch, to have like 135 stacked up into small plates. But I think that when you see it at a competition, for example, and you see like that blue plate there, it might kind of like cause some small level of intimidation or anxiety to come up into play. And I think that being able to visually see what you have worked so hard for on that bar in the best possible presentation, or the rightful presentation it should be in, the easier it will be for us to expect further gains going forward. Because small plates could kind of translate into maybe like, the small plates weren't calibrated and that it's not 135, or the small plates give us bigger confidence while approaching the movement. I would want you to make sure that you hit 135 next week or this week with those big plates on the bar, just to make sure that we can psychologically overcome that. I'm not saying that psychologically this is going to be an issue, but just knowing that, like, from the previous people that I've coached who have had 135 as their goal, as their end-all be-all goal, the moment that they see the 45s on the bar, it kind of messes with it mentally. So I want to see what happens with you when you do that. I don't think it's going to be a big deal at all, but it's better safe than sorry. Let me know if that makes sense. And I'm not implying that you are going to have a bad psychological response to 135. I just think that you should get exactly on the bar what you deserve and what you've worked hard for so long. Anyways, bar path on. So going into Spoto press, we definitely need to get more consistent with where the bar is being stopped. Ideally, it would be about anywhere between 1 to 1.5 inches off the chest, right? So sometimes you stop about 2 to 2.5 inches off the chest, and sometimes you stop right over the chest. So I think the next week we can do a better job at just simply getting better at pausing at the same spot. The next thing is just basically that 140 on the Spoto press on that second set. It certainly looked better on that third rep, particularly because that third rep we saw a really, really big commitment to bar path. That was probably one of the largest commitments to bar path I've ever seen out of you, and I would like to see the bar path be more similar to that third rep where you're driving over your shoulders and then pushing up, rather than driving into a 45-degree straight angle type of position. In terms of the pause deadlifts, I think that the pause deadlifts were very good decision making. I thought that like the undershoot for the 8 RPE was great, and certainly something that I would have called for if I was standing right next to you. And also, I do think that the positions look much better. Your back looks super straight, which is a huge win for both of us. And number 2, you did a great job at attacking at the glutes the moment that the bar was above the knee. Because you started with such a straight back, notice that the above the knee to lockout position wasn't hard at all for you, when previous times it was awkward to say the least. Not from my perspective, but just from your perspective in terms of moving and locking out that bar. So this is hopefully the start of just pulling with a straight back more and more consistently, so we can use that at the meet and kind of count on having the upper back be more rigid, therefore allowing your glutes to work in the way it's intended to work rather than trying to just save the lift. So going into your next thing, 315 for a single at not an 8 is looking very, very solid. I see ourselves certainly hitting something higher than that in June for sure, especially because 315 and above 300 is now getting to be routine and casual for us. And I do want to see what happens when we hit like 320, 325 in the gym first, and see if we can maintain that rigid positioning, and then otherwise call for something heavier, so that way we know we can structurally go through that. But I think that's pretty much it, Jamila. If you have any questions for me or anything like that, feel free to reply back to me. Otherwise, I will see you at Lifting Sisters Social this Saturday, and which reminds me, I have to make a post about that on my Instagram and Murderer Pros. But with that being said, great job this week. I'm glad you're feeling better. I'm glad that you went to the PT, and I'm super glad that the PT didn't have much to say other than stretch and is giving you a specific game plan to do that. So anyways, I'll talk to you soon. Have a good one.